In a world where financial stability is a cherished goal, the wisdom of Brian Tracy shines as a guiding light for those seeking liberation from the clutches of debt. In this video, we'll explore the helpful guidance from Brian Tracy on getting out of debt and achieving better financial freedom. Brian Tracy is a well-known expert in personal and professional development. He has spent years sharing practical advice to help people improve their lives. Let's dive into his tips and learn how to break free from debt and work towards a more secure financial future. With Brian Tracy's easy-to-follow advice, you'll have a clear path to navigate your financial situation and start making positive changes. But before we start the video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button for more content like this. Let's now jump right into it. Let's face the truth. If you find yourself trapped in debt today, it's because of choices you made. You chose to be in debt, and the way out is by choosing not to be in debt anymore. When you spend less, you avoid getting into debt. I'm going to share some practical and proven ways to help you get out of debt faster than you might think. It all begins with looking ahead, just like successful people do. Think about your future when it comes to money. Imagine a life where you're free from financial worries and you can stand on your own. Create an image of how you'd like your life to be a few years from now. Do you want to earn more? Look for someone in your field who earns more and learn from them. This will help you move closer to earning that amount yourself. Here are a couple of questions to think about. How much would you like to be worth if everything was perfect today? Many folks from the older generation plan to keep working past the age of 65, even up to 70, because they couldn't save enough. To avoid that situation, figure out how much you'd like to be worth in the future. Another question: how much money would you like to have every month and year without working for it? This is really important. Think about how much money you'd like to have coming in, whether you're working or not. The clearer you are about this, the quicker you can reach your goal. Always start with clear goals for your future. Now, let's shift our focus to your financial goals. Imagine where you'd like to be financially in 10 and 20 years. Some people plan for the long term, even when they're young, unlike those who only think about short-term stuff. Your goal is to reach a specific financial target in 10 or 20 years. Next, think about your 5-year goals. Where do you need to be in 5 years to reach those bigger goals? And don't forget your 1-year financial goal. Where would you like to be in shorter periods, like 9 months, 6 months, and so on? Start with aiming to have a net worth of $1,000 and no debts in 1 year. Achieving this goal will set you on a path to save even more, like $10,000 and beyond. Now let's talk about a simple fact. What does it mean to be financially independent? Well, it's when you have enough money that you can choose to stop working if you want to. That's a good place to be. And guess what? In this 21st century, if your job involves thinking and using your brain, the more you do that, the smarter, healthier, and more creative you become. This means you won't really have to retire. You can keep doing what you love without worrying about money. Now, let's begin with a step to get out of debt. It's about thinking ahead and planning for the long term. Imagine if you lost your job suddenly. Would you be okay financially or desperate? Some people would struggle if their income stopped and they might not be able to pay their bills within 2 months. Start by figuring out how much you spend in a month. Then, multiply that by 12 to see how much you need for a year. After that, multiply the annual amount you need by 20. This gives you a big number. That's your financial goal for your lifetime, based on how you're living now. Let's say you need $5,000 each month to live comfortably. Multiply that by 12, and it's $60,000 per year. Multiply that by 20 and you get $1.2 million. With $1.2 million, you can withdraw $5,000 every month without running out of money. So how do you get started? Well, it begins with a financial checkup. You make a list of what you own, what you owe, and what's left. You can grab a form from your bank to help with this. These forms might seem cold-hearted, but they ask for everything you own and what it's worth if you sold it. When you're doing this, be honest, add up everything you own, your possessions, savings, and investments, to get a total. It turns out that the average 40-year-old in the US has less than $40,000 in net worth. This means that if they've been working for 20 years, they've saved about $2,000 per year after expenses. So, list down all your stuff and add it up. Then, make another list with all your debts. Be honest about this too. Be tough on yourself when you decide what counts as an asset and what's a debt. Surprisingly, most adults haven't done this. When they ask 50-year-olds about their finances, many have no clue how much they actually own or owe, and they're far from being able to retire. Think of it like weighing yourself to lose weight. You start by knowing where you are right now. Currently, you might owe more than you own. But the key is to be truthful about your situation. This is your starting point. Now let's address an important question. Why do people spend too much and end up in debt? Let's dive into it together. First and foremost, it's like a natural instinct we all share. Imagine this. Whenever there's a choice between doing something that's fun and easy versus something that's a bit tougher, we often go for the easier option. This kind of thinking can lead us down a slippery slope right into the arms of debt. To avoid this trap, we need to constantly remind ourselves to be disciplined and restrain our impulses. People who manage their money wisely are like champions of self-control. If you find yourself in a financial mess, it's probably because you've been struggling with reining in those urges. Another reason we overspend is because of something called easy credit. Nowadays, getting a credit card or borrowing money has become super simple. It's like they're handing out these cards left and right. But here's the catch. When you just pay the minimum amount on your credit card bill each month, it takes forever to clear the debt because the interest rates are sky high. So even though it's easy to swipe that card, it can lead to a mountain of debt in the long run. Next up, let's talk about being a bit hasty. You know when you buy something and later realize you could have snagged a better deal. That's because you didn't really stop and think before making the purchase. It's like rushing into a decision without giving it a proper thought. Now, here's a big one. What happened to you when you were a kid might still be affecting your spending habits today. Think back to when you got your very first bit of cash. It was probably from your allowance or a gift from someone. What did you do with it? Chances are you spent it on something you really enjoyed, like candy or a toy. We've all been trained to associate money with buying things that make us happy right away. But this mindset can backfire when we grow up and start handling more money. Suddenly we're buying stuff just for the thrill, and it can lead us into a financial mess. Let's talk about the not-so-pretty side of winning the lottery. It might sound amazing to win a bunch of money, but studies show that many people who hit the jackpot end up worse off in a few years. They buy all sorts of things they think will make them happy, but it often leads to even bigger problems like divorce, alcoholism, or weight gain. Turns out they got a lot of money before they knew how to handle it properly. Now let's get real about something. Buying stuff might make us feel good for a short while, but that feeling doesn't last long. If you decide not to buy something and walk away from it, you quickly forget about it. It's like it never existed. So, all that spending doesn't really give us the lasting pleasure we thought it would. If you want to get out of debt and build a better financial future, you need to rewire your brain. It's like giving your mind a little makeover. Think of it this way. You've got to swap the wire that says, "I love spending money," with one that says, "I love saving money." Trust me, when you start seeing spending as a negative thing, you'll naturally want to save more. So, how do you do this rewiring magic? Well, there are 3 steps. First, you've got to say it out loud. Repeat this like you mean it. I love saving money and watching it grow. Say it until it sticks. Next, picture it. Imagine you're already super rich. You're chill, confident, and happy because you've got stacks of cash. This mental image helps you get into the right mindset. Last but not least, feel it. Imagine how good it would feel to be financially secure. Would you be relaxed, cheerful, and full of optimism? When you connect these positive feelings with saving money, it makes you want to do it more. Looking at your bank statement and watching your savings grow gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling. It's like a cozy blanket of safety and security. Having money set aside is like having a secret stash of calmness and confidence. On the flip side, being broke and in debt makes you feel all jittery and unsure about things. Every person who has achieved financial success has trained themselves to find joy in the idea of having enough money and watching it grow. When it comes to getting out of debt, the first step is to carefully keep track of your spending. Step 1 involves creating a list of all your monthly expenses and being honest about it. Then, you should take your total expenses and increase it by 10% to account for unexpected costs. Step 2 is to list down all your debts along with their required monthly payments and add them up. This helps you figure out how much you absolutely need to pay each month. Step 3 focuses on making a commitment to cut down on your expenses, aiming to earn more than you spend each month. Imagine yourself as a business and your goal is to generate a positive return on your efforts. If you earn $3,000 a month, aim to make a 10 or 20% profit instead of spending all of it and more. The fourth step involves creating a monthly budget based on your income, expenses, and the amount of profit you want to achieve. Many people who struggle with their finances lack a budget, which leads to impulsive and unplanned spending. Step 5 advises you to keep only 1 or 2 credit cards and get rid of the rest. Cut them up to avoid temptation. Credit cards can be troublesome, even if you pay them off entirely. The credit card industry is massive and can trap you in debt. Now, let's talk about Step 6, which is all about bulk buying and seeking discounts. When shopping, consider purchasing non-perishable items or products you frequently use in larger quantities. This can often lead to per-unit cost savings. Additionally, always keep an eye out for sales, coupons, and discounts to maximize your savings on essential purchases. Step 7 reiterates the importance of cutting down on expenses to earn a profit every month. Step 8 is about using the money you save to start paying off your debts, beginning with the debt that has the highest interest rate. Focus on paying off the debt by putting any extra money you have towards it. Step 9 encourages you to commit to using cash for all your purchases from now on. You might be surprised by how much wiser your spending choices become when you use cash. Step 10 involves sitting down each weekend, preferably on Sunday, to analyze your financial situation. Take a closer look at your money, debts, and how much you have in savings. Spending an hour or two each weekend to do this will gradually lead you out of debt and improve your financial awareness. Incorporating these steps into your financial routine will not only help you get out of debt, but also make you more knowledgeable and adept at managing your money over time. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.